care of on the bare floor under the staircase. Hadi, does this story sound familiar to you? Because you are the specialist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Yeah, I mean, well, for my area, I would say I'm very sad. I mean, very, very sad. And this I learned happened in Kolebu many, many years ago. And a nurse single-handedly had to make sure that, no, I mean, this shouldn't happen again. So when she took over the reins of the surgical medical emergency, she said that we are not going to treat patients on the corridors or outside the confines of the SME, which is the surgical medical emergency. But for my area of specialty, really, I would say that for the southern part of Ghana, you can only get services only in Kolebu. 37 supporters most of the time. Reach, we don't have a lot of neurosurgeons there. So we are forced sometimes to walk on our feet, just doing ward rounds from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital to the polyclinic to the Fevers Unit. We virtually roam the whole of the hospital, and we visit the SME every day. But with what he has narrated and what happened and statement made and some of the decisions taken by the ministry, I want to kindly and respectfully tell the Minister of Health, the Director of the Ghana Health Service, that they failed Ghana. They should resign. They should resign. Because I can't see how, for example, Hadi, would listen to such after I've suggested that no patient should be turned away, for someone like this to go through this harrowing experience for 48 hours. We all know how the SMU looks like.
Yeah.
For you to nurse your mother outside an emergency. We are not refugees. We are not at war in Ghana. No one has declared a state of emergency. We've not had a national disaster. Okay, when there's force majeure, yes, you want to understand. But for a minister, for a director of Ghana Health Service to make such statement, and don't tell me these people are not doctors. They have gamut of expertise who advise them. And I heard them speak. I felt sad for the country. And I think in any serious nations, like it happens in Japan, this is a failure. This is a failure of their decision that they took. And I will kindly and respectfully, for the sake of the patient that we've lost and for the respect of humanity, they should resign. They should.
Yeah.
It is not fair. And I don't want, it's very young, it's seated by me here. We've had doctors who went through similar experience, but 48 hours, no.
48
hours is wrong. It's totally wrong. And people should resign. We should start doing that in Ghana. It's not because we're not saying you have failed, but see, as a sign of respect for humanity, for the sanctity of life, they should resign.
Titus.
Yeah. So it's a very sad story.
Are you also with the Kolebu?
Yes, I work with Kolebu.
Okay, but you're also the Deputy General Secretary of the GMA?
The Medical Association, and in a very different department. I don't often go to the SME.
Okay.
And I'll say it's a very, very sad story that we have heard, and I'll express my condolence to him and the condolence feelings from all doctors in general to him. I feel very terrible about this, but I think this is something that we predicted was going to happen. When the directive was issued, the Medical Association immediately came out with a statement and stating that just issuing a mere directive, we are just going to ask people to supervise mortalities, because a mere directive...
In other words, supervise dying.
People dying, yes. Yeah. So, and people, and I heard politicians make analogy like, who would you prefer to rather die in the hospital with somebody watching you or die at home because they are turning you away? But you see, it's not just a matter of turning away. We said that if you are issuing such a directive, certain things must accompany it. I mean, we have developed a policy, a referral policy. Why couldn't we come out with measures, meet all stakeholders, and see how to adhere to that policy? I spoke with him.
What is that policy?
Yeah, I spoke with him off studio and off air. And the policy, for instance, stipulates the levels of care. These people moved from Botiano, from when I spoke to him. Yes, to Kolebu. Of course, they've been told that you will not be turned away. Kolebu would not turn away. I don't know what the exact situation was. But if we're going by normal situations, from Botiano, there's a health center at Botiano. There is South Municipal Hospital. They pass by Kanishi Polyclinic. And only to come and let this person be seated in a chair for how many days?
2 days.
I mean, it is not acceptable. So you realize that when the policy was issued, the media, everybody was very happy. Now they've directed that no one should turn a patient away. The doctors can no longer send patients away, as though, and the impression had been created as if healthcare workers deliberately would turn patients away and hold beds for whatever reason.
But that was also part of the problem.
Well, no. I just want to make a point. We echoed it and no one was listening. No, there are attitudinal problems and we don't condone it. We said supervisors should be up to their task, and if we find the attitudinal issues, let's bring out the culprits and punish them. But if you don't fix the system and just issue a directive and all of us go and sleep, very excited that now we will not be turned away, this is what's going to happen. If anybody has taken seriously the statement the association issued, which asks for adherence to that protocol, this woman would have been educated, that they would have gone to any of these facilities I've mentioned before going to Kolebu. We called for an institution of a national call system. The hospital would have called Kolebu. Kolebu would have said, there is no bed now. Do A, B, C, D. At least this woman would have been in a bed wherever she would have gone to, whilst waiting to come to Kolebu. An arrangement is being made for her. Why would we let somebody come and die under these circumstances just by issuing an administrative fiat? We asked that there should be an ambulance system. I don't know how. Maybe later you'll find out. Had to go and do.
Let me ask.
The CT scan. How did they do that?
Did you come in an ambulance or you put him in a taxi, or how did you transport her to the hospital?
We put her on taxi.
In a taxi.
So this is the issue.
So when you were moving from where you were for a few days before you went to do the scan, how did you move her? You just pushed her, or you got a taxi again?
No, we get an ambulance for her.
Okay, so the Kolebu gave you an ambulance. Okay,
Evans, and I want to really make a statement on this because I deal a lot with ambulance, like head CT scans. Now, currently, the CT scan machine in Kolebu is not working.
Oh,
and has not been working.
Is that the only one you have at Kolebu?
Yes.
The whole Kolebu?
The whole Kolebu.
You have one CT scan?
Yeah, one CT scan. You see, and the danger is, someone will say, but we have CT scan machines dotted around. Why? Why should you put somebody in a teaching hospital, a patient who is ill?
A teaching hospital
who needs to call an ambulance. Now, let's look at the cost. Now, the cost of CT scan is about 400 Ghana cedis. If you need to have a contrast injected, you may go up to 500, 600. Now, if you call in an ambulance, the ambulances are not free. I'm sure he will attest to that.
How much did you pay for the ambulance?
Yeah.
How much did you pay for the ambulance?
150.
You see?
Wow.
So it increases the cost.
150 cedis?
Yeah, in some cases, they are charged 300 Ghana cedis. Okay? And so our healthcare system goes just beyond, and that is why I am still insisting, okay, that these two people should resign. Now, secondly, now they are even making the matters worse. They're making the matters worse by just creating the impression, and that's why I think they have not been fully reviewed, okay, and they've not appraised the situation very well. To say that just providing us with beds, okay, so the problem is bed. It means you don't understand. You are not qualified to be where you are. People may think I'm being harsh on them, but it is very important that when people take up certain positions, they understand where they come into working.
Let me get you, and I'll come at you, Benson. Briefly, Titus.
So just to wrap up, unfortunately, we predicted this by saying that if we do not attach any logistical support and just issue that instruction, and everybody is happy. And I remember personally speaking on several media platforms and saying that the people of Ghana must stand up and say we deserve better than an instruction that even if it's on chairs, if it's on tables or whatever, keep them and treat them. No doctor is happy to turn a patient away, but we are saying that the dignity of the Ghanaian is important. If we have mass catastrophes, if we have mass disasters, and we have to treat people even in the streets, we are willing to even perform surgeries under trees to save people's life. But it should not become a norm.
Is it a norm now?
See the directive of issue, that's what it has become. Because you have people until Kolebu announced, and I think the minister and everybody were in the Kolebu announced that referrals should stop coming in so that they decongest. It was the norm.
I see.
That people are just coming in. So I think that in wrapping up, I would just say that as we are looking at solutions, and I'm sure you
hold on, we'll come to that, because that's the main reason why we're here. Benson, because you're a nurse, I guess you even encountered this more than the doctors do.
Exactly. Let me just tell our cherished listeners that at this point, okay, let's all put our political background aside and let's talk as Ghanaians. You see, let me try to explain what the no bed syndrome is. And as Dr. rightly said, it's not just about we don't have beds. We are talking about logistics to use. We are talking about the space. We are talking about staff. You see,
But I thought you have the staff. We have enough specialists and the doctors and nurses.
No.
You don't?
We don't. Now, just imagine my brother's situation.
But there are plenty nurses who are looking for postings that they
are home. They are actually home. I'll come to that.
So what are you saying? That nurses are protesting that give us, we don't post us, and we say we can't post us.
I'll come to that. Let's take our brother's issue here. Now, when the mother was being sent, came in a taxi, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was there a nurse in the taxi with you?
No.
Very good. So every referral system, okay, when we refer, or even when you are transporting patients and looking at the condition that the mother presented, you don't just leave the patient in the hands of anybody, because medics are trained as to how to handle patients and even give first aid whilst you are transporting the patient
to the healthcare center.
Now, if that doesn't happen, supposing the mother was bleeding into the brain, let's even say that she had a spinal injury, you just give the person to the family members to take her for scan. It may complicate issues. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say here is that it's very important that we fix the system. It's not just about saying that put them anywhere. Imagine 2 nurses on duty attending to over 30 patients.
Talk about your personal situation. What happened in your case? What happens? How many patients you take care of in a day?
Well, I initially work at the Children's Hospital where there could be 3 nurses against about 30 to 50 babies at a time. And the system expects you to deliver quality care. You understand what I'm saying?
You say under that system, it's nearly impossible to do that.
Exactly.
Because of the
so you
numbers.
come and meet a nurse or a doctor who is already tired, and just if you try to say something, the person flares up.
Because he's tired.
Sometimes it goes beyond just the person's actual attitude, but the situation at hand. We don't have logistics sometimes to work with. Doctor can tell you that sometimes when we talk about the last time someone saw even a defibrillator, which we used to resuscitate a patient, was when they were in the medical school. It doesn't exist.
But it's cheap. Last time when the vice president passed on, I went on Google.
Okay.
In fact, eBay. I just wanted to Google. I mean, I saw defibrillators that you can get for $1,000, somewhere as low as $500, and the highest priced one I saw was $1,500. And it had voice prompts. You can just attach the thing. It charges, shocks, because it's reading the heartbeat, tracing when to charge. And I'm like, I can buy this for myself.
Yeah, I actually wrote an article.
Do you have one at Kolebu, by the way?
No.
You don't have a defibrillator at Kolebu?
Let me be careful with this statement. Now, on many of the wards, okay, you're supposed to have defibrillators, these automated ones. Now, but we don't have it on the ward, and it's in possession of, I think, the anesthetists. They are the ones who have it. So when there is an emergency, then they have to bring it or call for someone to bring it. But ideally, a patient can have cardiac arrest anytime on any of our wards.
Wow.
If you traveled outside this country, the premises upon which I wrote that article about 5 years ago was that my wife went to Monaco, and on every street it was attached to the
it's the most common thing.
The telephone
booth.
They all had it, and she asked me, I mean, And I'll be frank, and I'm saying this, I'm sure many people would not be happy with me, including doctors. But I can bet my last city, okay, that if you take 100 doctors now in Ghana, you tell them they should manually use
a defibrillator.
I'll be shocked if 50% of us can do it.
Wow!
So I'll be very shocked.
And this is supposed to be the most basic equipment.
Yes.
And you can buy it on eBay. Yeah. I saw it on eBay. Yeah. In fact, I was thinking about buying one from my house.
But seriously, that is how we value human life in this.
Hold on, let me bring in the butcher of Kolebu now. Doc, there's a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
First of all, you're going into Kolebu. I guess that's the epicenter of all this.
Yeah.
He says the politicians have failed us. Fortunately for us, you're a politician. You agree?
Yeah, I am a politician.
You agree that you failed us?
Oh, what we put it that we could have done way better. You see, and first of all, I am one of them. You know, and luckily for me, I've worked in at least 6 hospitals
in Ghana.
In Ghana,
okay,
over the past 8 to 9 years. I was trained in Kumasi. I went to Asimfosu, worked there for some time. Worked in Central Regional Hospital, worked at the District Hospital in Cape Coast. Then I went to Dunkwanofin, St. Mark, which is a private hospital. I was in Chebi for about 4 years. I worked in La General Hospital. I've been in Tema General Hospital. And now I work at Lekma. I go there on Mondays to consult. I don't know with all this maybe.
You still combine your
yes. I still
parliament and
yes. Every Monday I do consultation at Lekma. So I'm part of their staff. Just I don't take double. I don't. I do that.
Good disclaimer.
Yes. Now, so I appreciate what they are talking about, but just for listeners to appreciate the fact that we are all in this together. I'll say that about 8 years ago, I lost my uncle. He's my favorite uncle. He was taken to about 5 hospitals, and the last place where he finally got a space to be admitted was at Ridge, and he died there. That was about 7 years ago.
Okay.
Now, my own mother passed on about in 2014, and I was in Germany doing some master's program. I got a call. A doctor explained to me what was happening. I knew if she had been flown to Germany, he could have gotten some heart surgery and all that. I was there when I was told she had passed on. The weaknesses in the system can affect any of us.
True.
So I am telling you what I have experienced. My own mother.
Yeah.
If I had the means, or if I had flown her to Germany, she could have. So when the system is not too strong, we are all at risk.
Yeah.
And so just for people to know that we are all stakeholders and we work hard at it. Now, what I also want to talk about is the don't refer policy. You know, with my experience in the hospital, I had a patient in La General Hospital some few years ago. At 12 a.m., I was on duty at the Ops and Gynae, where they take care of the women.
Yeah.
And this lady had been referred. And by the time she arrived, my recovery bed ward was full. Even I should go and operate, she wouldn't get any place to lie. So I went down and told them that, and the family that, police hospital is just 5 minutes away. So why not go to police hospital? And then the lady held me and said they are not going. So I asked the parents why. They had been to Can West at Weja. They were taken to 37. They went to Reach. I was the 5th doctor or hospital they were seeing. Immediately they said that. I said, okay, sit on a wheelchair. We see how we handle this. And then some way, somehow, by morning, we were able to get to deliver spontaneously. There was no surgery that was done. Now, so I'm just letting you know that we've had these things 7 years ago. My uncle experienced it 4 years ago. My mom had an issue just 2 years ago. So we've been having them. You understand?
But that makes this case even stronger.
No, you see, our address.
Because we know the problem.
No problem. Yes, our address some of the systematic things that give rise to the no bed. Like I said, it's not just fiscal no bed or fiscal no facility. The challenges is like let's explain so that listeners will appreciate. And I'm not giving excuses, but just for us to know that we appreciate what is leading to this and we are committed to working on it. Now, when we said the referral, that the policy was like don't refer. Honestly, outside it looked like don't refer, but you can refer in consultation with the head of the hospital, the management, because the lady I saw at La General, nobody knew she had gone to 5 hospitals. If I turned her away, and she had died or anything had happened, maybe the 70-year-old man's case would have come out. So we would have known that time. So the point I'm making is that now we want hospitals to refer, having sought the advice and consent of their bosses. Because sometimes a nurse can turn a patient away, a security man can turn away, a house officer can turn away, when there's a senior person who should take responsibility. So my point is that there should be referral at worst case, but with consent and approval from head of the unit at that time. Immediately you do that, people are careful because they must justify why they referred. That is point one. Unfortunately, like he said, some interpreted it like, well, they said we should not refer, so okay, get a chair and sit down. I'm not here to blame anybody. But when we say there is no bed, what we mean is that we don't have the space which will contain a bed to put you on. And there are many issues that come with it. Beyond that, they've mentioned some staffing. Like he said, sometimes I get to the consulting room. At 8 a.m., I'm a nice person. By 12, I'm quite strict. By 4 p.m., I'm not too nice. Are you getting them?
Yeah.
But because the more people who come with their issues, and the more you deal with people, sometimes the stress builds up, and you are not too friendly. So the staffing also ought to be correct. But quickly, I must say that we can never get the appropriate ratios in the shortest possible time. In 57, when we became independent, if they tell you the ratio of doctors to patients, it was worse than today. But yet, you must find a way of using it efficiently to at least not to have a crisis situation. You get what I mean? It might not be a perfect situation like in advanced countries, but not a crisis like we have now. So, quickly, the first point is to make space available. Now, I'm giving you some of the recommendations. The first, after the inauguration, we had an informal meeting, the board, sort of.
Today?
Yes, quickly. We don't have much time. So we had to go through and see the first 3-4 steps that can bring some sanity at Kolebu. And the first one is that by Friday, within the next, it should not be more than Friday, in the next few days, we are going to open the new accident and emergency. I like what my brother Tato said, that the same place he trained many years ago as a student is the same emergency being used today when you go to Kolebu. Meanwhile, the population is growing, numbers are growing, even doctors. Sometimes you go to a unit, there are more nurses and doctors filling the place than patients. So we need space. So immediately, we are opening the new accident and emergency. The board, together with management and the minister, we've given ourselves that deadline. There's no time. Friday, we are commissioning. Whatever is left must be done before Friday. And that is going to give us minimum 60 to 70 beds. More than twice the capacity of the existing one, which is filled up now. Honestly, if we open this up, using the scenario, those who are on chairs and things would not be sitting on the chairs. So we are opening up. In fact, the estimate was about 350,000 Ghana cedis. But like he said, the life of a human being is costly.
Yeah.
More than that, way more than 350. So we are going to get it operational. Initially, the plan, when I met management, was to use the old place as the outpatient clinic for internal medicine, whilst we have this as the new surgical and medical emergency. But look, I told them we don't want to take risk. Let's have as much space as possible. So still keep that also as an annex.
Yeah.
Yes. So we are going to have the new one with over 70, 60, let's say 60, let's keep the minimum 60, and the existing one, which is about 36, yes. So let's say 100 beds for emergency. Now, the space is good. Now let's come to staffing. I want to just tell you why people take off from Wija and they want to land at Kolebu.
Why?
You can go to a private facility. If they have 2 doctors, one is sick and the other is exhausted, they will tell you, unfortunately, we don't have a doctor on duty. You can go to another government hospital. If they have 2 doctors there, and you go there in the night, and for some reason your case is quite bad, they can tell you go to Kolebu. Kolebu, because at any time I train in a teaching hospital, you don't have only one doctor. It's not one doctor have an emergency. At least you are going to meet about 3 of them. You see, so when you go to the teaching hospitals, because it's a learning center, there's a house officer on duty, there is a supervising specialist, and if you are lucky, there's a consultant on call. So sometimes the team on duty can have about 6 doctors. So people go to Kolebu because they know that whatever happens, there is somebody to take care of you. And the chair syndrome tells you that it proved it, that you get a doctor. In fact, I know someone who was treated on the chair, got well and went home. There are doctors who they have the knowledge to give you what you need to get well. But sometimes you cannot get well on the chair. So we need a space. So now that the space has come, I'm just telling you why everybody wants to land at Kolebu. And the opening up of the space is one. As for staffing, although it's not the appropriate ratios we want, we can be efficient with what we have. That's why I know Titus will agree with me. At any point, he asked for doctors at the emergency, we'll have some. Now, one innovation also I talked to the
members about.
The members about, which we'll be having a board meeting on Tuesday, which are going to firm and try to, is to have partners to Korle Bu. Health facilities that are within a short distance, maybe not more than 10 kilometers, maybe let's say between 3 to 5 from Korle Bu. And we listed some of them. Quickly, we looked at Mamprobi Polyclinic. We looked at a few other centers. Now, this is what is going to happen. I told the management that you can free up this space. You have now 3 times your now original capacity. Because of the population in Accra, everybody knows that this is where the best is. You can still get a situation where the place is full. Now, what you will do is that there are just nearby facilities where their wards are empty or 30% occupied. So once you partner them, when you are telling a patient that the place is full, you put a nurse in. It can even be a student nurse. Or in fact, I'm going to also approach YEA to give us a few of their, those under the module as medical protocol. Sometimes, you see, the nurses are not in huge numbers. So sometimes you don't want to put a nurse in an ambulance or a van to take a patient to another facility. You want to save lives, which you are dealing with. So some of these people can be trained within 2 weeks how to handle the sick, and then they sit in a car and then drive with the patient
to this other facility.
Exactly. So if you have a team of 7 doctors, it can be that on every day one of the team members is on a roster at that facility. So you are not told go somewhere you don't know. You are sent away with a medical protocol to that facility, and what the doctor is going to do for you at Mamprobi is what will be done at Korle Bu emergency. Yeah, medical protocol is the same. So, Evans, we must remember that, like I said, over the years, what we are seeing is a stress test. It's just like a heart patient who has been put on a stationary bike. The more he paddles, the more you can see the issues he has. And
as we've been speaking, I'll come to yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, and then let me come to.
I have a problem.
You come. Let me tell my brother before he comes in.
Okay, briefly.
Just to remind him that. When I was when I was practicing and all that, I was very critical of the system. Yeah. I'm the kind who goes to meetings, challenges authorities as to how to become efficient. If I want to go to the things that have led us here, I might spend more time on that.
You don't want to do that?
Yes, but out of respect for him and our listeners, all his questions can come to me as to why some things are there and what we can do to improve. Yeah. And I'm ready to handle
Fantastic. That. Yes, your reaction to the proposals. Yes. And then we'll go to the phone line because Dr. Isiasari, the Director General of the Medical, wants to
DME is actually looking at the bigger picture. He's Korle Bu chair. We're looking at the emergency system
across
Ghana. It's the emergency system of Ghana.
But now, before you go to the broader one, if you
come to Korle Bu, for my work,
what you just heard there, the proposals that they want to implement.
I think the second one he added that he's trying to add the other side because
the partners.
Yeah, because all along the impression was that once the new emergency is open, it was going to actually resolve the problem. But the first one, actually, the capacity was in 36. Yeah. The real capacity was in 36. If you include the first floor. Yeah. It goes almost close to 70 or 80. For some reasons, they stopped using it.
Oh, I see.
Okay? And the impression was that when the second one is open, which was less, and now you are going to engage a new department, which is Titus department.
Which is what?
Obstetric and gynecology, who have never been part of it. Now their emergencies will be routed through the new emergency.
I see.
So in effect, you're going to have less beds. And I want, if you go back, please charge them, let them look at the issues critically. Because what it means, gynae emergencies are now adding up
to the general one. Okay.
Now, one other major contribution to this no bed syndrome has to do with the ward itself. It's not just the ICU. So creating bed space at the emergencies is not enough. But if you come, say, to first floor, which is the neurosurgical, we have about 35 beds. It's almost always full. It's almost always full. Once you don't have enough space, it means that the patient with spine injury, the patient with head injury at the surgical medical emergency or the accident center cannot come in.
Just briefly.
It chokes the system.
Just briefly, but on all the proposals he's put forward now, you think it will ease the pressure?
I think it's an ultra short solution.
Okay. So I guess what we're talking about is,
we always say that after some time
that will cover the wound for now.
Yeah, for now.
I guess I'll speak to the Director General of the Ghana Health Service shortly, and then we'll come back and talk about long term. What is it? And remember that this is not about Kolebu conversation. This is a national conversation. Hello, Dr. Nsasari. Thank you very much for connecting here on Ghana Connect. I think we lost him on the line. Let's get him back on the line because he called and said he wanted to make an intervention. Let's do that now. Let's do that now.
Whilst we are waiting to get him back, I just want to state that when we are looking at the solution, from our point of view as the Medical Association, we are saying that we have to tackle this thing
holistically, and that's where I want to go.
And we must prioritize healthcare.
Okay.
We have said that over the years, governments over the years have not prioritized investment in health.
Narrow it down for me. Specifically, what should we do to address it?
Asking for improvement in our ambulance system.
Good.
We cannot have any proper emergency without ambulances.
So number one, buy more ambulances.
More ambulances.
Properly equipped
to man them.
Good.
That's number one. Number two is that increasing physical space, functional space.
Which means you have to build more facilities or
operationalize the existing facilities that have not been commissioned.
And there are plenty of them.
Okay. And the existing ones.
We are told that later this month the UGMC will come up.
Well, for the UGMC, for what I hear, the bit of it that is coming as of now is outpatient.
Okay.
So it may not really handle this emergency situation.
Okay, hold on. That's why I want to bring in Dr. Nsasari, who joins us. He might know a bit more. He called and said he wanted to make an intervention. Hello, Doc. Thank you for connecting.
Thank you very much.
I'm told you have an intervention. We're happy to hear it, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I didn't listen, but a lot of people are calling me that look as if people don't understand or didn't understand the directives you give to the Ghana Health Service institutions. And I want to explain it clearly here. The whole world over, emergencies are emergencies. Nobody drives away an emergency which goes into any health institution. I want everybody to get it clear. If I'm walking in front of Mamobi Polyclinic, La Hospital, or any hospital that has been accredited to give care, nobody should drive anybody away. And that is the norm for all emergencies worldwide. For example, I'm a doctor. With my doctor crest in front of my car, if I'm driving on Accra Kumasi Highway and there's an emergency, it binds on me by our ethical code to stop and then make sure that the victims who have the accident are not in danger. I give them the resuscitation that they need, and then make sure that they are being sent to a place where they will have definitive treatment. And that's exactly what Ghana Health Service did. And I think that the unfortunate old man who died, the man who died, 70-year-old man who was not seen and had got all this no bed syndrome. If one of the hospitals that he went to would have even put the patient even on the floor and given resuscitation and first aid and referred to the next center, maybe the man will be alive today, will not be seeing this story again. So I still insist that all public health institutions under Ghana Health Service should not drive away any patient who walks in or is brought in by ambulance or by taxi as an emergency case. And that one is what is the best evidence-based practice which happens in any country, in any world. I'll give you an example. I was in Boston University for a course, and I had a cut of my finger. When I was rushed to the Boston Medical Center, I was managed in a chair, in a seat, maybe plastic chair or something, where I was given a drip. I was resuscitated because I was bleeding, and then they sent me to the theater to go and suture it. That is Boston, Massachusetts in America. So nobody should say that because of the directive that we gave, now patients are going to Kolebu and Kolebu is overflooded. Look, yesterday I watched JoyFM news. Where are the patients where they were talking about the Kolebu? People are being seen in wheelchairs, they want them board chairs and this thing. There was nobody there. That's why we'll talk about it maybe later. But what I'm saying is that emergency situations ask for emergency solutions. when there's a mass disaster anywhere, especially, for example, what happened in the main knife and the field, patients will be managed on the field, sometimes without even a mattress. So all what we are saying is that if there's an emergency, anybody with emergency should go to hospital, and I'm giving directives to all my hospitals that which comes under me, that you should not turn the patient away. If you do that, then you will also be relieving Kolebu of all the cases which are working there. For example, if you are working in front of Kolebu police station and you have an accident, maybe a car knocks you down, they don't have to take you and go to Mamobi Polyclinic before you are seen. The next available hospital that you are supposed to go is Kolebu. And Kolebu has to take the patient and then do whatever you want to do. People will be talking about triaging. Triaging is like you go to bank. The bank clerk collects money. There's one CD, 2 CDs, there's 5 CD notes, there's 10 CDs notes, there's 50 CDs notes. The bank clerk sorts them out.
And you prioritize, I guess. You prioritize.
Yeah, you prioritize. So and then we have green, we have yellow, you have orange, and you have red. So all that, if somebody has red, it means it's a critical situation, and every doctor or everybody who is taking care of the patient will all rush on the patient and go and make sure that the patient is safe, is resuscitated, or what you people call, what the layman will call first aid. So what is wrong if a patient can be saved in a chair
or on the floor before a proper transfer is made?
Home and dying.
Yes, I think you brought some clarity, but I just want to get my doctors in the studio, who of course raised the issue, to interact with you very briefly. Titus is a doctor at Kolebu and wants to interact with you, Doc, just for a second. Titus, yes, he's on the line.
Good evening, Dr. Nsiansari.
Sure, somebody went to...
Hello, Doc. Doc, your friend Titus is a doctor at Kolebu, wants to interact with you briefly.
Yeah, you can interact.
Okay, so I just wanted to say that from our point of view, we have never contended that directive, and we think that it's actually acceptable that no one should just be turned away without being seen. At least that first aid or something should be done. But our concern is that we should not stop there. And it looks like we use it as an emergency system to stop there, and then nothing happens.
Okay.
We are asking for a call system. We are asking what are the measures being put in place
to fix it permanently and not just permanently. Hold on. You also have something to interact.
When the issue happened, the directive came. Now, what I have seen also being done outside of this country, okay, we've also traveled worldwide. Now, even if there is emergency, he wouldn't have been transporting his mother to the house. That is what we are calling on the ministry and the Ghana Health Service.
Ambulance with a health officer in it.
There is a line he calls. They pick. There are paramedics. They will make sure, and they will know where to send the patient to.
So that must be that's why you call a call
center. And now he's talking about what the year or the national youth. There are a lot of them at home. Why can't we take, even if it's the first floor, okay, of the digital center, where you have a call center, people with emergencies.
That will be dealing with medical emergencies. So you call to one center, and then they know what's happening in the system, and they direct you where to go. That's why you are. Hold on. Let me just get that before we go. Dr. Siasari, please, your reaction to that.
Hello.
Your reaction to what you just said from the doctors.
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, sorry. So the two things. The two doctors agree that your directive, it appeared as if it ended there. What they want is a proper laid out system with a call center, that manages these cases coming in and directing these emergency cases where to go, or proper ambulance provided with a medical officer. Say go to Kolebu instead of the don't turn away, simple and straightforward.
Yeah, I think my directive has not ended there. We have a blueprint that we are following. Parliament has set up a committee. Luckily, all this discussion that we are having has put health as a priority number one in this country. We, in our recommendations, we are speaking about 5 broad thematic areas. The first one is pre-hospital care. That's why he's talking about ambulance system. We want a robust ambulance system in this country, a sustainable system. The next thing that we also spoke about or put in our recommendation is proper emergency management systems. And in emergency unit, you shouldn't leave an emergency patient for 13 days or 11 days. Maximum in evidence-based areas where things work is 24 hours. We have put down in our recommendations. And then we also believe that we should have enough logistics, enough facilities, and we have emergency centers across the country. In the Greater Accra, where we are having this no-bed syndrome, there's no proper built accident emergency unit. Like if you go to Komfanochi, we have a well-built accident emergency unit of about 70 or 80 beds. We should have one in Accra. We should have also training for emergency physicians, emergency nurses, anesthetists who will take care of emergency patients. We also are talking about logistics, that consumables in emergency units. We are talking about also that the government gives enough financial clearance for us to get more people so that we get people manning all the emergency centers, for that matter, hospitals. We also went to a third thematic area where we said that we should have a proper bed management system in this country. Emergency beds are very expensive beds, which the turnaround time is very, very fast. As I said, 24 hours, maximum 48 hours, the patient has to leave the emergency unit. But if you don't have any bed in the hospital, then there's a problem.
Yeah, Doc, great interventions. What we'll do is that we'll expand this conversation. We just ran out of time on this, but I want to come back to you tomorrow as we discuss this in greater detail on Newsfile, just to expand on all the various measures that you are rolling out. That's Dr. Siasari with the Ghana Health Service. Gentlemen, I'm grateful that you guys joined us. We just ran out of time on this. This is a conversation that we will definitely have to continue. Doc, forgive me. Yeah, I just ran out of time. We'll come and continue on this. This is not going away. We'll probably return next week, have the same conversation, and continue to nail it down. Thank you for connecting here on Ghana Connect. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
On Airtel Tigo. Airtel Tigo is asking everyone who's been away for over a month, 3 months, 6 months, and even up to a whole year to come back to unlimited Facebook and WhatsApp. Just reconnect your old SIM, reload only 1 Ghana cedi or more airtime to call or browse, and in addition, enjoy unlimited Facebook, unlimited WhatsApp, and 10 minutes of free calls to Airtel Tigo lines each week for 90 days. If you lost your SIM, no worries. Sambrefie. Visit any Airtel Tigo shop to get it replaced for free and enjoy unlimited only on Airtel Tigo. T's and C's apply. Airtel Tigo. One big family.
For funerals, for weddings, for birthdays, or for when you just want to party. Whatever the occasion, we'll deliver the refreshment. Take the stress out of the event planning with mysmartcoke.com. Just visit mysmartcoke.com online on your computer or smartphone and choose a package. Pay with mobile money, Visa or MasterCard, and your drinks will be delivered to your preferred location. Try it today at mysmartcoke.com or download the app from the Google Play Store. My Smart Coke. Global orders, local deliveries.
So, when he opened the door, I stepped into the room and I couldn't believe my eyes. Candles everywhere. Hey. Flowers on the bed. Hey. Plain Kojo Inchi. Honestly, I was still too tired. But then he pulled it out. Moods condoms. Oh. And I told him, you should have led with that.
A real man puts her pleasure first. Moods Condoms. This comes in over 19 exciting variants to keep you and her in the mood. Moods Condoms. Layered right. Marketed and distributed by Pharma Nova Limited.
I found a love for me.
You
deserve to start your marriage with the right preparation to make the big day memorable and hassle-free. The 2018 edition of the Joy Beauty and Bridal Fair offers you a convenient shopping experience to engage wedding professionals, designers, and vendors to help you live your dream. And it comes off at the Accra International Conference Center from Thursday 12 July to Sunday 15 July 2018. For enquiries, call 0246 477 783 or 0540 106 466. Make a date with the Joy Beauty and Bridal Fair from 12 to 15th July at the Accra International Conference Center from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. The Joy Beauty and Bridal Fair is brought to you by Joy 99.7 FM and sponsored by PMMC Jewelry Limited, the nation's premier jeweler, Ruby's Bridal, Experience Royalty, Curious Cakes by EKGS, Curious Cakes, where cake meets style, Angel's Beauty Supplies, it's all about looks, Black Secret Makeup, beautiful smiles always, Pepsi, own the moment, still one Ghana cedi pet, Team 1000 Words Limited, an image is worth 1,000 words. We create the proof. Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner, and 925, creating a treasure for a lifetime. Joy Beauty and Bridal Fair, where your beauty comes alive and your walk down the aisle begins.
Perfect tonight.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music. Joy 99.7 FM.
Keep this frequency clear.
Word up. Come on the chatty shit. It's your baby. I love the show you play.
Days, your passion is fading. You don't even call me honey at all. Baby, it's your these days, it took one SMP. Honey, you're flattening behind me. The pain of me losing you bites me. Baby, why me? Them say you say not so I day. I'm not sure what I'm hearing. Some say you talk, say you sabi where I day. Now you out of control and I wanna know what has gotten over you. Cause every time that you need me, baby, I'll be here for you. It's as simple as A, B, C. I love you. I love you. Oh, I love you, boy. Doesn't matter what.
Joy 99.7 FM.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you, boy. It's as simple as A, B, C. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you, boy. Doesn't matter what we say. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you, boy.
Somehow you're right, but then you're wrong. Me back in my mouth 50%. Cause when I love can never fade away, even when we are gone. Romeo and Juliet to dawn. When we say and say, me ne yasasa, me point juma, me matamada, me bana wada, me diani nina. Yes, me one pena. It's a matrasa who my cherish man in Naira. Yeah, other me take what's it. Bra me brain I da chinti. Me can't love you chump but a deep I fit. But when you must say drone and grand power be fit. See man in Juju last approaching in a beca war. Fitting their court, they be a me power don't come on. Dear more than one pass I beg you know. Who put when you tell me say push I make you work no winning the make a team I make a lot.
It's as simple as A, B, C. I love you. I love you. I love you, boy. Doesn't matter what people say. I love you. I love you. I love you, boy. It's as simple as A, B, C. I love you. I love you. I love you, boy. Doesn't matter what people
Beba. Was sending me voicemail that day. I miss you. But your chicken and chips on the vanilla. My favorite ice cream vanilla. My chili red wine. Baby, I can't do. Meaning me, I'm painting me, Misa. I'm inside credit and casa. She's the same old girl on the sun. The girl you did pick me. Meaning me, I'm painting me, Misa. I'm inside credit and casa. Such a sweet girl on the sun. The girl you did pick me. Meaning me, I'm pay. Meaning me, fan to tenor. Meaning me, I'm pay. Meaning me, I'm quite girl. Meaning me, I'm pay. Meaning me, I'm pay. She be the one I go live for forever and ever.
Joy 99.7 FM.
From the studio to your radio, feel the joy. Joy 99.7 FM.
Porque creo en tu palabra, porque yo siento que aún te necesito, porque me alteras las ganas. Te quiero así, estruendosa y delicada, entre alegría y nostalgia, porque me gusta tenerte vida mía. No quiero que te vayas, porque el amor, cuando es verdad, sale del alma, nos aturde los sentidos y de pronto descubrimos que en la piel se encienden llamas. Bien, tu amor me hace bien. Que me hace bien, te quiero así, tan precisa, equivocada, con tus detalles que matan, porque tenerte a mi lado me hace fuerte, si eres mi reina y mi espada. Te quiero así, cuando ríes, cuando callas, porque al caer me levantas, porque mi voz y mi espíritu se agitan cuando dices que me amas, porque tu amor, como es verdad, me vuelve el alma, me despiertan los sentidos y de pronto descubrí que aquí en mi piel se encienden llamas. Ay, hace bien. Tu amor me desarma. Ay, tu amor me controla. Oh, me endulza, me encanta. Ay, cómo te quiero, ay, cómo te adoro, ay, Lolita linda, tú eres mi tesoro. Uy, es que me vuelves loco. Hello. A ti te gusta la bomba y te gusta el patiné. Para que goces ahora, africano es el mente.
Good evening to every one of us, especially here gathered at the Accra International Conference Center. We're live on your Super Hits Radio Joy 99.7 FM. Time check, it's 18 minutes after 7, and I welcome you warmly to the happy hour of day 2 of the JoyFM Beauty and Bridal Fair. So in case you're wondering what this happy hour is all about, it's all about fun, it's all about excitement, it's all about unwinding, it's all about putting down the stress from Monday to Friday, all the stress of work. We're putting all of that aside. We're coming to shake it up, we're coming to boogie it all up in this happy hour. And the main thing that's going to be happening is we're going to be dancing. And guess what kind of dances we're doing? We're doing all the social dances that you know. We're doing salsa, we're doing kizomba, and I hear there's a combination of that's called kizalsa. So basically, that's what this happy hour is about. My name is Baba Tando, broadcast sports journalist with Joy 99.7 FM and Multi TV. If you're around, you want to dance, you already know how to dance salsa, kizalsa, kizomba like Doreen Ando, please join me right here. Right at the entrance, and we're going to be getting free drinks from JP Shanae. And JP Shanae are here. They are exhibitors here at the Joy Beauty and Bridal Fair. In some few minutes, I'll be taking us through a few of the shops, of course, who are still doing amazingly well when it comes to discounts and all. So come, let's have a party. Come, let's have fun. Everybody who wants to dance, join me at the main entrance to the... Oh, okay. So I'm hearing there are a lot of people who are already volunteering. Dorinando is already... all right, it's fine. Dorin, he's not ready, so let's just let him go. He can't dance to save himself. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is the happy hour, day 2 of the 2018 Joy FM Beauty and Bridal Fair. I see people trooping in. JP Shanae is going to be treating us to some sparkling champagne and some whiskey. So come, you want to wear your heels, you can. You want to wear your flats, you can. but join me at the entrance. And ladies and gentlemen, the dance bit is going to be carried out by a wonderful dancer group called Dancetera. They are going to be teaching us how to dance. Oh, and I'm loving the scene already. There are people who are ready to boogie a dance. All right, so let me talk to a few of you. My name is Baba. What's your name? My name is Beta. Beta, what kind of social dance or which of the social dances do you know how to do? I know how to dance a little bit of salsa. You know how to dance salsa? Pardon? A little bit of salsa. You can dance a little bit of salsa. Okay, can you show me some small moves? And what the music is by DJ Samson. DJ Samson, hi. All right, DJ Samson, Beta will show us something small. Beta, show us something small. I'll help you with your bag. Bring it. Let me help you.
Cuando siento el aroma de tu cuerpo, me ahogo en el silencio. Si tú no estás aquí, se me acaba la vida, se me acaba. Si tú no estás aquí, se me acaba la vida, se me acaba. Si tú no estás aquí, quiero ser tu canción, quiero ser tu risa.
Okay, so this is like a record. Beta has set a record. She only danced for 2 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, like I told you, we are doing this in collaboration with Dancetera. And our dance instructor for tonight, who would happen to be my co-MC at a certain point, is Robert. Hi, Robert.
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you too?
I'm heavenly placed right now because you are doing one of the best things. One of my favorite things I love in this world, which is dance. And so, yes, I'm excited.
All right. So, and before we even get started, Dancetera, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, Dancetera is a dance movement, an organization that basically has different wings. So we have wings that we do workshops. We also have television programs where we actually, showcase everything and anything dance. And of course, we organize events. One of our flagship events, the Ghana Dance Festival, that happens every September from the beginning of the month to the end of the month, 30 days. Organizing about 22 events in that particular month. And of course, this partnership is being carried out to be able to bring one of our favorite programs in the Afro-Latin community, and that's called
Afro-Latin community?
Yep, Afro-Latin dance
so
community.
So Africa and the Latin people. Basically.
That kind of stuff, yeah. So basically, that's who we are, that's what we do represent, and we project the interest of dance.
Okay. So you just heard from Robert, who is with the dance movement, Dancetera. So I see people here in Guarded. If anybody, this one is just like freestyle. If you know you can do salsa, if you know you can do kizomba, I think we'll start first with salsa, right?
Yeah.
Anybody who knows how to do salsa should just join me.
Yep. So those who can join. Those who cannot join because they feel they cannot dance, I'm going to dare them. If you are here, you can do high life. In 5 minutes.
Like a high life dance?
Like a regular high life dance. In 5 minutes, I'll get you dancing. If you are here, you know you can do high life. In 5 minutes, I can get you dancing. If you can walk, as in like walk.
Like no special kind of walk, just walk.
If you can walk, you can dance kizomba.
In a straight line or
Yep.
Just...
And if you can mark time, you can dance salsa. All right, if you are here and you can mark time.
Robert, just like that.
If you
can dance high life.
If you can dance high life.
If you can walk.
In 5 minutes, I can sort you out.
If you can walk.
If you can walk, you can dance kizomba.
If you can mark time.
If you can mark time, you can dance salsa in minutes. Literally, like right now, like tonight. So I'm daring anybody under the sound of my voice. That sounds like I'm preaching. Anybody listening to me right now, yes, that's the day I'm giving to you. If you are here, you haven't tried it before, don't leave without trying it. Of course, come and participate. If you're out there, you're on your way home, you want to beat the traffic, you want to while away the time, it's Friday night, don't just go home. I mean, you are used to the 4 walls.
What's the use staying in traffic? Just head over to the Accra International Conference Center.
And then I understand some free drinks are coming as well.
Yeah. JP Sinead, they are giving us champagne and some whiskey.
So you're dancing and then you are getting free drinks.
That's a happy hour.
Good.
True happy hour.
And you don't have to come here with a partner. So if you're a lady, you can come on your own. And if you're a guy, you can come on your own. Because you guys will end up coupling up.
Say that one will go cause problem.
If you have somebody, go pick up plus the person. But Charlie, feel free.
All right. So the place to be is the Accra International Conference Center, where we are having the Joy FM Beauty and Bridal Fair. So at this juncture,